All right, let's see if this thing works. Check. Jason Davis, live on YouTube on a Monday. It's because my internet went out. So this is an attempt to see if I can get a live stream up and going on my channel. If you are checking this out right now, let me know somehow so I can be sure everything's working right. I've got a phone number in this general area here. Wait, this one. Phone number here. I've got a Skype name here. Should it all work here somehow? Basically, what I'm trying to do, let me make sure that this is working. Creator Studio, see streaming, live streaming. Let me just make sure. If this works, I mean, this is something I can do. Yeah, there we go. It's working. Okay. So, let me see if I can monitor the chat somehow, because that's really probably where most of you guys will be. And then there's the matter of the phone, which you're more than happy to jump on board with right now. I gotta figure out how to tweet this thing out, because that's really where it's at. Gotta be able to tweet this thing out so people know I'm actually live on the air right now. Let's see, where is this? Optional features, no. And you're getting me turning a lot. Looking and sounding good. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it. There's the chat. Okay. So I got the chat over here. I'll keep an eye on it. I don't expect a lot of people to jump on board at 10:39 on the East Coast, okay? I'm just trying out some stuff. I wanted to be able to talk about Leicester today because I didn't get to talk about Leicester today. I'll probably talk about Leicester on Sirius XM tomorrow, but of course, you know, my show over there is mainly Americans topics. So my girlfriend, hi Kayla, I love you. You should be asleep by now. I really do appreciate all the support from my wonderful girlfriend, who's like the subscribe. You subscribed, right, to my stream? Okay, so this is what I want to try. Like, I want to make sure that if I do this stuff, first of all, these are going to go up on the YouTube channel, and I haven't made a video in a while, so this is an opportunity for me to sort of get into my natural element and be able to put a video up. So, hello, YouTube subscribers. Welcome to Jason Davis's soccer channel, where we are going to talk about soccer. That's pretty much what we do. I got a couple videos, more pre-produced stuff. I'm working my way through understanding and learning how to make videos. So that's the process here. The other thing is obviously live. And this is going to lead into some other stuff that I got in the works. And certainly the finale of what used to be the best soccer show. That'll come along at some point, and it'll be me and Jerry Dubois, and we'll blow this thing out. We'll have phone lines open and everything else. Oh, you know what I didn't check on yet? So let me make sure that this works, because I wouldn't normally use this stuff, but if I'm gonna treat this like sort of like an impromptu radio show, which it kind of is and kind of not, and I'm not going to podcast any of this. So if you want to listen, if you want to hear this stuff, if you want to get this content, you're going to have to subscribe to the stream, okay? You're going to have to subscribe to the YouTube channel. That's the best way to do it. The more stuff I add here to my system, the slower the video is going to be probably, so I have to be aware of that. That being said, let me get rid of this and this. That being said, I think I can toss in some wonderful sound effects every now and then. So what will be the last time you two team up on the air? No, Jay, so the best soccer show situation is that the best soccer show is over because Backheel is over, essentially. Jared's life has gotten complicated anyway, so even if Backheel wasn't over, we would probably be looking to wind up the best soccer show anyway. It's unfortunate, it's sad, I don't want it to go away, but, you know, I'm not going to stand in the way of Jared needing more time with his family. So what we're going to do is blow out the doors on the final best soccer show when we can get the time worked out, because right now that's a problem. And then the other thing that we're going to do is probably work together on another podcast project that is not soccer related and probably won't be weekly, just because of the timing, just because of giving Jared enough time with his family. And look, I'm a single dad. My time can be valuable in certain areas too. I mean, I'm lucky enough that right now I can do this. My kid's asleep. So he's asleep, and I can jump on the air and talk to you guys. Let's see. Just a new or different format. Yeah, it's going to be a different show. We're going to have more fun doing the pop culture stuff that we like to do that some people don't like as part of the Best Soccer Show. So really, that's what you're going to get. All right, let's see. Can you guys hear this stuff?
Danger Zone!
If you guys can hear the sound effects, let me know in the chat, because this is all again part of working this stuff out.
And or hello.
So maybe I can work in, maybe not, maybe I can do a whole new soundboard for the YouTube live shows.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
See, and I can play around with this a little bit more now that I don't have Jared Dubois in this. All right, anyway, that's what I can do. Thanks for confirming, guys. I appreciate it. Clado and Jay. All right, so the other thing that we want to make sure of is that the phone lines work. You see the number. It's right. I'm pointing at the screen. The number is here where my hand is, obviously. If you guys can see that, yep, it's there on the feed. I can see it myself. And then the Skype name. Okay, so here's what I think can happen. The phone line, you can call in. I can get you on the show. Okay, I can just call in. I'll take you via Skype, and you'll be on the stream. That's your voice in the standard way we usually do it on the Best Soccer Show. But I think, based on the video format and everything I've got going on here, that with the stream, if you call in via Skype, let me get this. This is why the weather guys, I don't know how they do this stuff. All right. So if you call in via the Skype name, here we are, which is really old Skype name. If some of you remember my old blog, that's where this comes from. If you call in via Skype and you have video, I'm pretty sure I can put your video on the stream as well. Okay, so that's going to be via some scene changes. Here's one. That's my Skype account. You're not going to, don't worry about that. I'm going to get rid of that real quick. That's my Twitter page. So really, I'm just messing around with some different looks here if you call in. And obviously, this is sort of set up so that Jared can be on the air and on video as well when we do the Best Soccer Show. All of this was sort of originally put together with the idea of the Best Soccer Show, but I figured why not jump on and do a bit of a live show here. Again, the timing doesn't work out, and I can't figure out how to tweet this damn thing. So I don't even know if, who knows if I'm on the air. All right, let me just tweet this out. Hold on one second. All right, so there we go. All right, so I just tweeted out the link. I think it was supposed to do it automatically. It's not doing that, so I'm not sure what's happening there, but that's okay. All right, so if there's anything, and I would love to be able to do, and this is stuff that we'll throw in later, maybe as I get developed here and as some other stuff gets off the ground for me, I'm going to work in some better graphics. I mean, this is just simple text stuff here. I would love to have a little bit of a lower third, throw in, I can throw in stuff on the fly, actually, if I wanted to. So let's say I wanted to do my Twitter handle. Let's just see. I mean, this is all stuff most of you guys that have watched YouTube videos know about already, but I'm just going to throw into my Twitter handle at the top in case anybody doesn't follow me on Twitter, which makes probably no sense, but there you go. Let's see. Twitter. All right. So anyway, this is partly me filling time while I wait for you to call in. All of you, please call in. So there you go. All right. So now you got a tweet. Yeah, look at that. In real time, you can see me messing with it. There's my Twitter handle. That isn't the prettiest setup, but it is a setup of some type. Okay. So 703-483-9409 if you want to call in. If you want to do the Skype thing, that would be really cool because I could test it. If not, that's cool too. Don't worry about it. It's whatever. We'll be fine. Also, whatever you guys want to see me do here would be nice. I mean, I got some, I got some topics that we could talk about today, certainly. But whatever it is that you want me to do with this channel, I would love to hear it. Because again, SiriusXM is my main outlet now. That's behind a paywall. I get it. Not everybody wants to pay for SiriusXM. It's a really good value, and that channel alone is completely awesome. But I want to be able to do some stuff that's not going to cost you guys $25 a month. So that's what this is going to be about. And this will be like more casual, I'm not doing a show here. In fact, I have no no rundown whatsoever. Oh, look, Nick's going to call it. Nick Seuberling from where are you from again, Nick? I'm sorry.
Well, I'm in Toledo, Ohio.
Okay, that's what I meant. Like you're in Toledo. Okay. So are you right now? You're just audio, right?
I can do video.
Well, if you do the video, I can test the video, Nick. That's kind of what I'm saying here.
Okay. So all you had to do is ask.
No, I know.
A minute.
My fault. You sound great, by the way. Everybody can hear. Everybody can hear Nick. Nick's setup is awesome. Nick's setup is probably better than mine. And maybe I'm due for some upgrades. You know how that works? Yeah.
Yeah.
And there's always room for upgrades, right? So, Nick, you won't be able to see me through the Skype connection, but obviously I'm broadcasting, so there you go. So let me see if I can get this to work. Look at that. Look how wonderful that looked. Now, the windows don't match up exactly, and I'm learning this on the fly, but you've got me on my little professional setup here, and you've got Nick, who's got man, I love the mic flag. That's killer. I need to get myself I don't know what mine would say, though.
Well, you got to come up with a new brand. Apparently, that's what you're doing.
You know what? I might have something in plan, in the works. And actually, no, you and I should have a chat, Nick. Like a serious. We should do something chat. Okay, we'll do that here. All right. Since I have you on, and you look clear as a bell, and I think all of this is going out very nicely on the internet. Let's talk about soccer.
Yes.
First, I'm going to take a dig at your boys. And you may have seen me on Twitter today, while Leicester is waiting to see if they win a title, while Chelsea and Tottenham are duking it out on the field at Stamford Bridge, your team is tweeting the awards ceremony and the red carpet at Old Trafford. And I get it. Let's celebrate what we did. And Chris Smalling is the Players' Player of the Year. Hooray, Chris Smalling. But come on, Nick, you got to feel pretty empty right now.
I will be completely honest. When I saw the tweets, I just ignored it all. I was too busy watching what was a very exciting game there at Stamford Bridge.
Okay.
And a little disappointed, too, that Manchester United couldn't fare a little better this season.
Well, are you
they still
hopeful?
have a chance for a trophy, some silverware there in the FA Cup. So that's good.
Are you hopeful? I guess that's a good question.
Oh, no, not with this coach.
Okay. So you honestly think Van Gaal's a problem?
I do. I think he limits a lot of guys. Now, you look at what he did this season, and he had to adapt due to injury. I don't think he would have made those changes if it weren't for injuries. So I don't know if a guy like Marcus Rashford sees the light of day if there wasn't for an injury to Wayne Rooney. I just think that his style of play, the style of play that Manchester United fans are so used to, attacking, goals galore, it's just been inbred in this club, and he's completely taken that away.
Okay.
We saw way too many 0-0 draws early on in the season, and I just think that the style of play and the quote-unquote the philosophy has just worn thin with United fans.
Okay, that's fair enough. I thought I saw a stat today. I don't know where it is. Somebody said something about he still hasn't reached David Moyes' record in his first year, right?
Right.
So he's got a couple games left to try to figure out how to get to that level. Is it okay though if Manchester United no Manchester United fan is going to be comfortable with being an also-ran or being in the Europa League or dealing with all of these setbacks, but is this a swallow hard and take your medicine type of situation, or are there still so many things in turmoil that I just asked you if there's hope, but imagine a time without Louis van Gaal in charge, with the Rashfords, with the Martials. I know he's kind of tapered off, but give me some sense of what the future is.
Oh, I think the future is very bright. As far as the attacking options for United are, Rashford has been just brilliant since he's come on, and he's so young. And I think the sky's the limit for him. I still think Martial is still getting his feet wet here in the Premier League. I know it's been almost a full season for him, but he's also young too. I don't think he's even 21 years old yet. So another youngster there. They've got to figure out what Rooney's position is, though.
Yeah.
He's not a number 9 anymore.
Well,
they've got to figure out what is his role going to be within this makeup.
What if Wayne Rooney's position is ex-Manchester United player? What if that's his position?
I think I'd be okay with it, and I think a lot of Manchester United fans would be okay with that as well.
Okay.
And I'm wondering too if he has stayed maybe a year or two too long.
Yeah, no, I think that there's something to that. I mean, he is obviously in a weird limbo he's a good player with no clear position, right? Not
Right.
good enough to be a number 9 in the Premier League at this point. Certainly not for a title contending team, which is what Manchester United should want to be every year, and definitely not good enough to be deeper in that team. Or certainly, you would hope that you have better options than Wayne Rooney playing as an advanced midfielder or an 8, I guess. And we've even seen him trotted out as a 6 a couple of times over the past couple of years, and that's sort of. Oh, that's funny. That's great, but he's obviously not built for that over the course of a whole campaign. So lots of questions there. All right, that's nice, a good entry point. I wasn't, taking a crack at your team, but then again, nobody saw this Leicester season coming, and so take your Manchester United hat off, which I actually hope you own one, like maybe in the form of a Pirates. Never mind.
I've got like 4 United jerseys just in the other room on the other side of this wall in my laundry room.
All right, so you've got
that work?
No. I know you're legit. Don't get me wrong. Leicester City. Put it into context, because look, we're Americans, and so I think the instinct is to go to an American story, which is the right, not right, but that's just our context. So, the 1980 hockey team, the Rams.
Saw that a lot today.
The Rams in '99 are getting thrown out. I mean, that's what SportsCenter was using a bit, and some of that was about the odds, which I don't think are necessarily the best. That's not the best gauge. Like comparing odds, 5,000 to 1 is more about people simply not putting money on Leicester City than it is with their actual chances of winning a title. Whereas the Rams were certainly shorter odds, but there were more people willing to punt on the Rams in '99 than Leicester City this year. So, I mean, can you put it into better context than we've seen so far?
I would say, and I know that they get a lot of stick, and I live in the state, so it's justified. The Browns are an absolute train wreck of an NFL franchise, right? Can you imagine if they ever were to win the Super Bowl?
I know, right?
That to me is a lot like what this Leicester team, their story. They spent so much time last year at the bottom of the table. Really, if you think about it, Jason, had no business even staying up in the Premier League.
Right.
I mean, they did so many things last year. I think they were the first team that was at the bottom of the table at Christmas to not get relegated. They went 7-1-1 to finish the year to stay up, and finished 14th in the table.
Right.
And then you just add to the fact that they had the off-season stuff with all the stuff over in the Far East, and they fired Nigel Pearson, and you bring in and also ran in Claudio Ranieri, who everybody was like, what a terrible hire. And he just goes out and proves absolutely everybody wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
And look, I know it was a down year for United, a down year for Arsenal. It's a definitely down year for Chelsea. Liverpool's not Liverpool, and they took advantage of it. It's full credit to them. They earned it.
It's so much circumstance, and that's the thing. Like I think people will want to jump on you for trying to take something away from Leicester when you point out the uniqueness of this season. Manchester United flat on their asses in relative terms to the rest of their existence. I mean, they showed the stat today. The number of managers who have won the Premier League, Nick, 6 managers. The number 1 manager on that list is Sir Alex with 13. Everybody else is on 2 or 1, and that's the list. I mean, nobody else has more than 2. That shows you where Manchester United usually is. So Manchester United flat on their face. Obviously, Liverpool's been in a trough for quite some time now. Even City, Arsenal always doesn't finish higher than 4. So I mean,
but this was their year. Like this should have been the year that they did something.
This is true. It was Chelsea being the worst. I mean. The story before it was Leicester's going to win the title. The story was, how bad is Chelsea? Oh my God, are they going to have a £200 million roster and get relegated? I mean, it was
close for a while.
For a while, you wondered. I mean, ultimately they pull out of it. Yeah. But I kind of hoped for that, just because of the chaos of that particular story. That does harken back in the same way Leicester winning the title does to a different time in English football when big clubs or clubs that were successful 2 years earlier, a year earlier, could be relegated. It used to happen. It doesn't happen anymore because the money has tilted everything. So it is unique that Chelsea's down, Manchester United is down, Arsenal, but even worse this year because they didn't have the fortitude to do it.
And City's doing something they've never done in their history, and that is playing a Champions League semifinal.
I mean, so yeah, and obviously City slipped up in the league in ways that maybe people didn't see, but their timing worked out. I mean, so much of that was timing what worked out for their Champions League run, and they obviously they found themselves in a position to take advantage of that, and now in a semifinal. So I think, and the point total, right? I mean, isn't this point total ridiculously low for a Premier League winner over the last decade and a half?
It feels low. And following United like I have, I've seen some years where they've had some really high numbers. Chelsea's had some high numbers as well as far as point totals, but I think that also speaks to the Premier League itself. With all the money that's been infused into this league, it's much more tight than from top to bottom than, say, some of these other leagues. Especially you look at La Liga. That's a ridiculous league. So I think that's a part of it. I think the teams are a lot more closer together in the Premier League, and that's probably why you're not going to see 87, 90, 93 point winners.
Well, here you go, just for reference. So last year Chelsea won it with 79 points. So that's relatively close. 84 for City the year before, 78 for United in 2012-13. Manchester City, when they won their first one, 89 points. And remember, that came down to the final day.
United had 89 points that year, too, but it was goal differential.
Right, Manchester United. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually reading the wrong numbers here. Chelsea won with 87 last year. So that was rating the runner-up. 87 for Chelsea, 86 for City, 89 for Manchester United, 89 for Manchester City, 80 for United, 86 for Chelsea. So this is pretty low compared to all of those. Manchester United in 08-09, I'm sure you remember this, Nick, won it with 90 points. Yeah. Chelsea had a year where they won it with 95 points in 04-05, which I think was Mourinho's first year in charge at Chelsea. So this is remarkable in the low number of points it took to win the league because everybody else, and you said it, it's about the parity, it's about the money, it's about the impact that's and the money hasn't even come in yet. I mean,
yeah, it's true.
How is that real? Right now it's all on the promise of all of this insane amount of money through the television contract. So once that money lands in their wallets, how does that fundamentally change the Premier League? And I'm fascinated about that on two different levels. One, internally, and we've seen it this year, Leicester's going to win they won the league. And two, what that means for England in Europe. Okay, so right now City is obviously in the semifinals and they're carrying the English banner, but they're also incredibly rich in terms of the money they spent to get there. And there will be sort of a reckoning within the league for teams like, I just wonder market-wise how this changes things. So you have, because what everybody points to, Nick, and I know I'm all over the place here, is Shaqiri, joining Stoke, right? Is that where so if you have a Shaqiri joining Stoke on the promise of the money, how many Shaqiris do you have in the Premier League at the 10 and below level next season, the season after?
Still, you still have to think about the league as a whole. I don't see a team like West Brom, and it's no slouch to West Brom.
Why?
I just don't see a team like them attracting marquee players. I just don't see it.
No, but we're not talking about when you say marquee. Okay, I think your perception of marquee is maybe the elite 50 players in the world, right? The players who end up at Manchester United and Chelsea and Arsenal and Barcelona and Real Madrid and Bayern Munich. I'm talking about the next tier down, and those guys typically end up at Borussia Dortmund, they end up at Atletico Madrid, they end up at Villarreal, they end up at Tottenham until recently. They ended up at Tottenham. Yeah. And now Tottenham is going to move up in the world based on Champions League next year and going for titles now, and certainly the money coming into the Premier League for them. So they're on a different. So now teams like West Brom are going to be able to get what Tottenham used to get. How does that change things? Maybe, but you're right. But maybe it's a maybe. But if everybody in the Premier League ticks up a level, okay, except for maybe United and City because they're already at the top.
Right.
then what does that mean for the rest of Europe?
I don't know.
No, it's just interesting to think about. That's all I'm saying.
I don't know if it means anything as far as the top of the league and how it translates to maybe success in the Champions League.
Yeah. I mean, it's more of a wait and see thing. And listen, the money in England changes the player market for everybody, the entire world. The money in England changes the way the Premier League operates, and it could create more parity.
But could you argue that making the parity in the Premier League what it is, because it's a lot more close than it is in some of these other countries, you can make the argument that it's actually made playing in Europe more difficult because
absolutely,
you're beating each other up every single week, and we've seen England struggle the last few years in Champions League. And the fact that City is still there
is shocking.
In the semifinal is remarkable in itself.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I wonder if we're going to see some sort of attrition for English teams in Europe, even if their talent level is good enough to go win the thing. If because now the league itself is tougher for those top 4 or 5 teams, and because you could have, based on the money, you could have some significant turnover, you could have defections, you could have just a different team, okay? And while most teams of the Champions League caliber can bring in 5-6 guys in a closed season and roll on and go win a Champions League maybe, you're also talking about perhaps a change in the participants from year to year. So rather than a sort of consistent, I mean, Barcelona and Real Madrid and Atleti in this era know every year for the most part they're going to be in the Champions League. Bayern Munich knows they're going to be in the Champions League. It was a shock when Dortmund fell off and missed the Champions League. Juventus always in the Champions League. If they don't make it, it changes their dynamic, their equation pretty significantly. That's what's happened to Manchester United. It's what happened to Liverpool. So if you now have a change, let's say right now it's Leicester, Tottenham, Arsenal, and City, right? Those are the top 4.
Not, but yeah.
Okay, but that's the top 4 at the moment. I know we still got a little bit to go, but let's imagine that those are the 4 teams that qualify for the Champions League places. Now, the 4th place team is obviously a playoff team, not a group stage team.
Right.
So if that's Leicester, Spurs, and Arsenal, it could very well next year it could be Manchester City, Chelsea, and Manchester United. So does that change how teams approach the Premier League now, because it's a much harder challenge to just get in the Premier League? I mean, sorry, Champions League. That's what I meant to say. Champions League.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It makes watching the league week in and week out a lot more interesting than in comparison to some years where you've known that the top 4 are going to be, and for the most part, United, Arsenal, Chelsea, and I guess since they got their foreign oil money, City for the most part. I mean, you could bank on those 4 teams being in it, but the fact that now you've got some new life, some new blood in there, maybe it is a good thing for English soccer and for Europe to see some new teams in there. You just hope that they can compete against teams like Barcelona, because right now, I don't know if there's any team in England that could play on a neutral site against Barcelona and come off as a winner. Even if they go play Bayern Munich, they're getting some good quality teams in the Champions League, but I just don't know if they can compete. Against the rest
it's just interesting to consider whether this money fundamentally changes the way English football is related to the rest of Europe, where you have the elite of the elite in the top 3 or 4 leagues. Those are typically the teams that are going to be favorites to win the Champions League. England now in a different mode of competition that may impact how they're able to compete in that division. All right, you've been on with me for a while, Nick. If you're willing to hang up for like 10 minutes more, I got one more thing. No?
I just want to throw out FC Cincinnati, man.
Okay, do it. Yeah. Go ahead.
Hey,
rep your squad.
So we do a show, Cincinnati Soccer Talk, and we're talking all things FC Cincinnati, and they have been fantastic attendance-wise. They're averaging 15,491 per game, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
That's through 3 games. That's pretty remarkable even for USL. So just really pumped with where that team is going, and it's been a lot of fun covering them too. So.
I had an opportunity to talk to John Harkes after the first one, which was obviously in 23, I think was the number. It was insane, 20 big. Yeah. And obviously they've done very well since then. The sort of local derby match with Louisville FC, which is a nice way to boost interest. So certainly things looking good in Cincinnati. All right, so since I have Nick, he was so kind to jump on board. The Copa America roster, anything at all? I mean, I feel like this is kind of a boring roster release. It doesn't have a whole lot of surprises. The only thing to get excited about is maybe Christian Pulisic. And after that, it's, a veteran squad. I mean, where are you going to pick Sasha Kljestan for mix? That's about it, right?
I mean, you look at the roster and nothing really kind of jumps out at you. You just kind of think, no, okay. Not much experimentation, not really anything to get excited about other than the fact you're going to play some quality South American sides. And you just hope that they do a lot better than they did last year in the Gold Cup. So we'll see. I mean, we still got a little ways to go. Injuries, I'm sure, will crop up and will affect this roster too, I'm sure. But it is exciting to see somebody like Pulisic. Was Julian Green in that 40-man roster?
Julian Green is not. Well, let me see something here. I got somebody calling. I don't think I can do this. Let me try. Yeah, it's going to split you, but that's okay. 860, who's this?
This is John from Connecticut.
Hey, John, what's going on? Nick is in a split screen now, so you're a little smaller, but I got John on the air too, which is cool. Hey, John, what's going on?
I just wanted to say this is pretty cool that you guys are doing this. I've been listening to Inside the Jungle for 3 years. Been listening to the Soccer Show and Soccer Morning for 2 to 4 years.
Like a little crossover
you guys should make this a permanent thing.
If I had, by the way, I really don't want the only problem I have here is Anyway, I'm trying to figure out some of the technical stuff. I'm gonna hang up on you, John, because I don't want to. There's some issues there. Anyway, we haven't. There's been no talk of that being. This being a regular thing. Anyway, Nick does a great job with Inside the Jungle, and obviously now with Cincinnati Soccer Talk. So whatever. I'm working on some stuff. I'm going to talk to Nick. We'll get there eventually. It's not really. I feel like we're on the spot here. It's good. It's good. It's good to talk to you, Nick. That's it.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks for having me on. I'm going to go edit a podcast, and I'm sure we'll be in touch. Bud.
There you go. I appreciate it, Nick Seuberling. Man, thanks a lot. There goes Nick from Toledo. Good stuff from him. All right, so this worked. This was a success. The one thing I do have to worry about maybe, some stuff. I have to go back and edit the video here just to make sure nobody's personal business is out there in the world. Other than that, thank you very much for watching. The 20-something of you that did. Like I said, threw it up with no warning. I was going to do this at 9 o'clock Eastern time. Lost my internet connection because of a storm, I guess, in the area. Finally came back on, and here you go. So, and here's the thing. I've seen some people. Most of you guys that are in there still and watching still have probably checked out some of the videos that I messed around with and did on YouTube. And I've seen some people, maybe a couple, say, "Hey, look, this isn't Jason. This is not who he is." Doing sort of pre-written content that I then edited into like pithy little 3-minute video. And you're right to an extent. Now, I think that's partly I want to be able to expand my my talents a little bit, or my understanding of all of this stuff. I want to be able to do different things. So partly that's me like getting more comfortable doing that kind of style rather than the stuff I've been doing up till this point. But I'm a radio guy, I guess, at heart. So this is better for me to sort of just throw stuff out there. So we had some Leicester City. We talked Manchester United. We talked Copa America roster. We talked FC Cincinnati, the Premier League. All good stuff. Thanks to Nick Seuberling for jumping on. Because I really was thinking that I was going to be sitting here by myself, talking to you all by myself, which I do normally anyway, but sometimes it gets a little more difficult. All right. That's it. More than half an hour gone. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you hit subscribe. Oh, and the last thing I'll throw in here, in fact, let me just go ahead and add a new bit of text here. The last thing that I'll mention is that I do have a page where you guys can help support some of the new stuff I'm doing. I mean, I've got the Sirius XM show, but you guys know it's a part-time gig. I'm writing, I'm hustling on that end. But if there's any interest at all in supporting me in any other type of ways, there you go. Let me just put this right here, smack dab in the middle of this. Yeah, I'm gonna do this all real time. There you go. All right. There's my Patreon webpage. No big deal. It's a monthly thing. If you don't want to do it, fine. Don't worry about it. But I thought I'd throw it up there for anybody who may have some interest in supporting this stuff or anything else I'm doing. And again, big projects coming up, and I'll keep you informed. But between now and then, just stick around with the YouTube channel. Stick around with the Twitter account, which you can see right there, obviously. And yeah, I'm out. Game of Thrones recap. I can't be the spoiler. I would love to sit here and talk about the Game of Thrones episode from last night. I really would. Let me just get that out of the way here. But I feel like people are still catching up. And here's the thing. I only watched the first episode last night before I watched the second episode, and I did it all through HBO Now, which, by the way, is a brilliant service if you're willing to pay for that. Game of Thrones is legit. That last night's episode, off the chain, across the board. All major storylines hit, not necessarily to our satisfaction. And maybe one day we'll cast soccer figures in the roles from Game of Thrones because, yeah, so somebody out there is Ramsay Bolton. That's all I'm saying. Figure that out.